Hi, today I wanted to talk about a new bit of software we've got that's coming out. Currently it's just in beta, but this is our QVR Recording Vault. This is a sort of sister bit of software, a companion bit of software to work with our QVR Pro and QVR Elite software. So QVR Pro or QVR Elite are very good at doing what they do, which is recording footage. You can set parameters within that for how long you keep the footage for, retention, things like that. What QVR Recording Vault does is it allows you to set a separate NAS, something completely different, isolated from the main unit, as a backup target. So what it's going to do is it's going to create schedules, backup jobs, and be able to pull the data from your live QVR Pro, your main surveillance software. You can pull it out and store it for a longer period of time in a different box. So traditionally the specs of the recording box has to sometimes be maybe quite high depending on how many cameras that you have. Whereas with the QVR Recording Vault, the specs are much lower because it's not doing active recording, it's just doing backups. But it does save all the data that you want to view. So if we scroll down here, first important thing is that it is license free. So no extra licensing costs at all, completely free to use. It's a dedicated backup. So if you have requirements where retention does exceed, say, 30 days or something like that, but you need to store the footage for a lot longer, you're able to use QVR Recording Vault to store for up to 999 days. So you can store an immense amount of footage, several years worth of footage there. Again, completely license free, and deployment is seamless. There is absolutely no change to your existing surveillance structure. You don't even have to have your main surveillance screen open to set this up. So it's very, very easy to do. There's a nice video on the website that you can do. You can view. I'll put this link in the video description. So we do an active backup. So once it's connected to the endpoint, to the QVR Pro, it's going to automatically back up the video from those endpoints. You can assign all the backup tasks that you need to the backup server. We'll go through that in a demo in a moment. And again, absolutely no changes to the existing infrastructure. It will also back up and retain any metadata. So if you do happen to have any facial recognition or object detection, anything like that set up in there, it's going to retain that. In the demo I've got, I don't have any of that, so I can't show that. But it's very easy to set up, so very easy to do. And more importantly, the existing infrastructure isn't changed. So if you have people viewing the live footage that might be stored on the local NAS that's doing the recording for 30 days, if you wanted to view footage older than that, you don't even have to log into those main NAS. You log into something else, which I'll demonstrate as well. So very easy to use interface, which we'll just jump straight into now. So what I've got here is my TS364. This is my main surveillance solution. This is QVR Pro running on it, and I've got 8 cameras set up to record to this NAS. So I've got 8 different cameras all recording into the NAS at the same time. With the recording storage here, because my TS364 is quite limited on storage, I've only allocated just under 3 terabytes to the storage, and I'm running it at about 93% full there. That gives me, let's have a look here, about 13 days worth of recordings on each camera. So that's as much as I'm getting out of the capacity that I'm willing to allocate to it from my NAS. My NAS is used for other purposes, and this is all I wanted to segment off for the recording on it. Over here I've got a different NAS. This happens to be a TSH1290FX running QTS at the moment. But here I've got QVR Recording Vault. I do not have QVR Pro installed on this NAS. The only dependent application for QVR Recording Vault was Container Station. So you have to have Container Station installed to use it. So if I open up QVR Recording Vault, just maximize that, I've got a backup job set up here to record, to back up all 8 of my cameras. So I can see them all here. So here I've got some backup jobs running. I've got them set to run every hour. So next one is at 3 p.m. If I click into recording management, we can see how much space is being used currently. I only set this up today, so it's not much space used at the moment, but you can go through and you can see all the information, and each individual camera is configurable. So if I look at this back garden camera I've got set up here, I can click the pencil on the notepad icon, and it's going to show me all the information about it. I can choose a different backup space if I have one set up. I can choose what happens when maximum periods are set up if I would like to. Is data going to be overwritten when it hits one of my thresholds here? So you can be very customized with the information. And you've also got the 3 dots where you can copy this information if you're creating a report, or you can just delete that camera from the recording if you from the recording backup if you wish. Backup storage is created just like you would a recording space on QVR Pro itself or QVR Elite. So here I've allocated just a share on my NAS, which is called QVR-RV for Recording Vault setup. I've allocated 5 terabytes, so a bit more space than my main NAS has. So this is able to record in this setup 2 more terabytes of data than my NAS itself. And it's recording the 8 channels. If you had things like facial recognition or object detection, they'd appear here as any data that's backed up from those as well. Permissions, you can set permissions up for as granular as you want. I've just got it set up that the administrators group, which my Craig account is a member of, so that I can access it. Logs, so everything that's happening with the backup is shown here. If you scroll back through a little while as well, you're able to see if anybody was viewing data or anything like that. So you can see here earlier today the user Craig has watched live footage from the driveway camera, for example. So it shows you all the information that you'd want to see. And the settings, you get a few different options in the settings, rebuilding the database, things like that, how it's all handling everything. So that's how it's mainly set up. So that's the QVR Recording Vault software itself. Now if I switch into QVR Pro Client, so this will be software anybody's familiar with that's been viewing the software. Now server type, we've always had 2 options there, which has been QVR Pro and QVR Elite or QVR Center. QVR Center is our central management tool that we have available as well. But now we have a third option for QVR Recording Vault. So if I was to go into QVR Pro or QVR Elite and go look at my main camera setup that I've got, so this would be my live cameras that I'm going to view. If I click that, it's going to show me my main view, all the cameras that I've got set up. So I can come over here and click my view. There's all my 8 cameras with live footage of everything. So that's how that's gonna work with it. So just mute that. Click that there. So that's the main view of everything that's on the display. Now, if I was to log out of this, so I've logged out of the TS364. Then I'm going to change the drop down there. I'm going to say I'm going to go to QVR Recording Vault, but this time I'm going to go to the 1290FX and I'm going to log into that one. So here it looks a little different and I can see all these different options on the left hand side. So let's say I click onto my doorbell camera. It's going to go and look at the doorbell camera and display the footage, but this time it's pulling it from the backup NAS using QVR Recording Vault. So the footage is starting at midnight, but I can click through to any time in the day and click through and have a look at different ones. If you've got older days here, you can go here and you can go back to older days on the schedule as well. So time before you started the backup. But they're very easy to navigate through the footage, and any metadata that you had will be there. You can still use our smart AI search down there. So if you wanted to do that, you can do the smart AI search on all the footage. But yeah, this is QVR Recording Vault. Very easy to use software, very simple. Again, completely license free. I will put a link to this page. It is still in beta, so hopefully it'll be out in the next month or 2 as a full release so that you can get it straight from the App Center. If anybody has any questions on QVR Recording Vault, QVR Pro, anything to do with our surveillance solutions, please do let me know down in the comments section down below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. Again, QVR Recording Vault, still in beta, hopefully out in the next couple of months. Thanks a lot. Bye.